Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 p.m. Cairo local time, and this is our news bulletin coming from Channel 2. My name is Nermeen Abdurrahman, and I'll be back right after this with the main headlines. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived back home after a historic visit to Russia. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli says developing ports and industrial zones are a key pillar for boosting national economy. And Israeli occupation forces continue their aggression across for the 53rd day since breaching the truce in March. Welcome back. The details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived back home after a historic visit to Moscow, where he attended a World War II Victory Day parade hosted by Russian President Vladimir Putin. More than 20 foreign dignitaries also attended the Russian annual parade to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Soviet victory over Nazi Germany. Troops from 13 countries, including military police personnel of the Egyptian armed forces, participated in the march. President al-Sisi's presence in the Russian capital came upon an invitation of the Russian leader. Ahead of the parade, President al-Sisi joined a host of world leaders laying wreaths on the war memorial in the Alexander Garden in Moscow. President al-Sisi also joined world leaders in a lunch banquet. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli stressed that developing ports and industrial zones are a key pillar in realizing the vision due to a pivotal role in promoting the competitiveness of the national economy and attracting more foreign direct investment. The Prime Minister's remarks came Saturday during an inspection tour of the Suez Canal Economic Zone to inaugurate a number of national projects in the east and west of Port Said.
Madbouli started an inspection tour of the Suez Canal Economic Zone on Saturday to inaugurate a number of national projects in East and West Port Said. Madbouli was accompanied by the Vice Prime Minister for Industrial Development and Minister of Industry and Transport, Kamel El-Wazir, Minister of Industry, Supply and Internal Trade, Sharif Farouk, Chairman of the Suez Canal Authority, Admiral Osama Rabia, Chairman of the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Walid Gamal-Eddin, and head of the Armed Forces Engineering Authority, Ahmed El-Azazi, as well as a number of senior state officials. The Prime Minister stated that the inspection comes in implementation of the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to make optimal use of the strategic location of the Suez Canal Economic Zone and to enhance the strategic location and integration of its infrastructure, supporting the state's efforts to transform the zone into a global hub for trade, industry, and logistics services. Madbouli stressed that developing ports and industrial zones is a key pillar in realizing a vision due to the pivotal role in promoting the competitiveness of the national economy and attracting more foreign direct investment. Additionally, these projects directly contribute to creating sustainable job opportunities and improving the efficiency of supply and logistics chains. The visit also included an inspection and inauguration of development works at East and West Port Said ports, which will turn them into major attraction points for international investors due to their strategic location and the advanced networks connecting them directly to industrial zones.
Foreign Minister Badr Abdel stressed the importance of continuing mediating efforts to resume the ceasefire in Gaza in participation with Qatar and the United States. During his meeting with Palestinian Vice President and Deputy Head of the Executive Committee of the Palestinian Liberation, Hussein al-Sheikh, Abdel tackled the quick recovery and reconstruction in the Palestinian enclave of Gaza according to the Arab Islamic plan. He also reviewed the current preparations for Egypt hosting the International Conference for Gaza Reconstruction in partnership with the UN and the Palestinian government. For his part, al-Sheikh expressed his appreciation to Egypt's role in supporting the Palestinian people and its fair cause. He also hailed the mediation efforts exerted by Egypt to resume ceasefire in Gaza and its efforts to facilitate the access of sufficient humanitarian aid to the Gaza residents. American President Donald Trump on Saturday announced a ceasefire agreement between India and Pakistan after days of deadly jet fighter, missile, drone and artillery attacks between the nuclear-armed rivals. American Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the agreement follows extensive negotiations by him and Vice President D.D. Vance with Indian and Pakistani Prime Ministers Narendra Modi and Shahbaz Sharif and other top officials. The announcement comes after Pakistan launched counterattacks against India Saturday after 3 of its air bases were struck overnight and the conflict between the arch foes escalated to dangerous levels. Pakistan's foreign minister also confirmed the ceasefire. Earlier, the group of 7 major countries also urged the Asian neighbors to engage in direct dialogue amid heightened hostilities. World powers have raised the alarm over the latest escalation in the decades-old India-Pakistan rivalry. In a G7 statement, the foreign ministers of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the US, in addition to Britain and the European Union, said they strongly condemned an April 22nd attack in which 26 people were killed in India-administered Kashmir. The G7 top diplomats called for immediate de-escalation and encouraged both countries to engage in direct dialogue towards a peaceful outcome. The leaders of Britain, France, Germany and Poland made an unprecedented joint visit to Kiev on Saturday for talks with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and urged Russia to agree a ceasefire. Before the visit, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called in a joint statement on Russia to agree a full and unconditional 30-day ceasefire and warned that they will ratchet up pressure on Russia's war machine until it does. More than 3 years into a Russian invasion, the European unity comes a day after Russian President Vladimir Putin struck a defiant tone at a Moscow parade marking 80 years since victory in World War II. Western security officials and a regional official said Iran is preparing to deliver in the near future launchers for short-range ballistic missiles that the U.S. claimed Tehran sent to Russia last year for use against Ukraine. Analysts said that with a 75-mile range, the Bethha 360 would give Moscow's forces a new weapon to fire at Ukrainian frontline troops, nearby military targets, and population centers close to the border with Russia. Russia and Iran have previously denied that Tehran had shipped the missiles or any other arms to aid the full-scale invasion of Ukraine that Moscow launched in February 2022. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said North Korea's involvement in the Russian-Ukraine war was justified, calling it an exercise of sovereign rights in defense of a broader nation, rather. He considered all the brave soldiers who participated in the Kursk's operation to be heroes and the highest representatives of the nation's honor. Kim also said Pyongyang would not hesitate to authorize the use of military force if the United States persists in what he called military provocations against Russia. North Korea did not officially confirm until late April that it had sent more than 10,000 troops and weapons to Russia as the country's military ties grew dramatically under a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty signed by Kim and Russian President Vladimir Putin last year. To some economic news, Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation Hani Swalem met on Saturday with the director of the Mediterranean Water Institute, Alain Messonnier, to discuss ways of cooperation in the fields of water and rain enhancement, as well as the joint coordination within the activities of the 8th Cairo Water Week, scheduled to be held next October, and also assuring the activities of the Rome Water Conference scheduled to be held in Italy in 2026. During the meeting, Swalem highlighted the role of the MWI in promoting water cooperation in the Mediterranean region while ensuring continued coordination and collaboration between the ministry and the institute in the water sector. Senior U.S. and Chinese officials met in Geneva on Saturday in a bid to de-escalate a trade war sparked by President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff rollout and fueled by Beijing's strong retaliation. American Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jaime Greer were conferring with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng in the first such talks between the world's two largest economies since Trump slapped steep new levies on China last month. Tariffs imposed on the Asian manufacturing giants since the start of the year currently total 145%, with the cumulative U.S. duties on some Chinese goods reaching a staggering 245%. To some exciting sports news, Santiago Jimenez and Christian Pulisic powered AC Milan to a crucial 3-1 home win over Bologna, and a victory that not kept only the slim top. That's all we have for now. Stay tuned on Channel 2. Many thanks for watching. This was Nurmeen Abdurrahman.